All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to talk about Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford and what Terence Crawford team had to say about moving on to that fight next. And I'm telling you, man, I am about there with them. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, what's good, good people? We out here talking this boxing again this fine day. This video, we are going to talk about Jermell Iron Man Charlo and Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is the WBO Super Champion at 147 pounds, and Jermell Charlo is the undisputed champion at 147. And being that, you know that he owns the WBO belt at 147 as well. There was some speculation by team members of Terence Crawford that might be what they need to do moving forward because of the impasse that seems to be taking place with the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. And I agree with them 100%. Now, before I get into the details of that, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, please hit that like button and share the video. Also, a good way to support the channel is through the super thanks, which you can see down in the comment section. But let's get into this. So, watched another excellent live stream by Bernie the Boxer, who is a team member of Terence Crawford's. And although I do not always agree with everything that he says, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the guy. He's definitely down for Terence Crawford and a very, very, very knowledgeable boxing fan. Definitely thinks through the sport of boxing very well. Got nothing but respect for the guy, even though he's not necessarily the biggest fan of mine. Sometimes, you know, it just happens like that. So being the loyal subscriber that I am to Bernie the Boxer's channel. Now, again, Bernie the Boxer is in Terence Crawford's camp. You will see him in the ring with Terence Crawford. I do believe he trains fighters out of the B&B gym in Omaha, Nebraska. Very knowledgeable guy around what's going on around Terence Crawford. Was one of the first people to come out and say that Terence Crawford was considering moving up to fight Jermell Charlo if he could not get the fight with Errol Spence Jr. That what Terence Crawford wants to do is get the belts at become a 2 to 3 division undisputed champion. As we know, he already was undisputed at 140 pounds when he beat Julius Ndungo to unify all those belts. The second undisputed title would be the fight with Errol Spence Jr. Himself and Errol Spence Jr. Errol owns 3 of the belts. Terence Crawford owns 1, or he can move up to 140 pounds and get the fight with Jermell Charlo. Now, there are questions out there that says, well, what would make you think that well, first of all, should he do that? This is my take. Bernie the Boxer shared his take. Definitely asked you to go check that out. But in general, it was, look, don't know what's going on with the fight. Don't know what's taking so long. Why is it always Bud's fault that the fight's not going through and nobody questioning Errol? Is it really time for us to just move on and go up there to 154 and go get Jermell Charlo, right? For me, there are some things that I disagreed that were said, but there are some things that I definitely agree with. Like the notion that the PBC probably does not want this fight between Errol and Terence. I do not believe that PBC is overly excited about the fight with Errol and Terence. I don't. I think there's a lot of red flags out there from somebody that it would be in their position. Number one, you already have a bunch of other fights that can be made for Errol with welterweights that are with the PBC that allow the PBC to have those belts, and if one fighter loses, at least the belts stay with that organization, and they're still promoting the other guy that he's fighting, right? So there's a whole nature of the inside fight that most all promoters are doing. It's not one guy or another guy. It is all of them. Bob Arum and Top Rank are doing it. You can see what's going on with that at 135 pounds and how all of those fights are lined up and all of those belts are over there with Devin Haney. But even before Devin Haney beat George Kambosos, all of those belts in that division have been tied up for a while with pretty much since Mikey Garcia retired, or Mikey Garcia dropped his WBC lightweight title. All of those belts have been over there with Top Rank, and those guys are making in-house fights. Same thing goes on with Golden Boy. Golden Boy is making a bunch of in-house fights. Matchroom is making as many in-house fights as they can with Canelo Alvarez. Almost all of the Zone's network, right? Which the Zone USA is partnered with Matchroom. So if you're fighting on and buying pay-per-views into Zone USA in the United States, then it's still Matchroom is involved in that. So that's why I think you're seeing a lot of these Canelo Alvarez fights with Billy Joe Saunders and Rocky Fielding and Canelo Alvarez and Dimitri Bivol, because all of these fights wind up being basically in-house fights. So the idea that the PBC would be interested in in-house fights is not hard at me. It's not hard for me to get my head around at all. Now, if they cannot make this particular fight, there is an ace in the hole that Terence Crawford has in order to get a shot at Undisputed, and that is to go to 154 and use his super champion, WBO super champion status to get that fight. That's what he did when he moved up from 140 pounds to 147 pounds. He was the WBO super champion. He exercised that option, petitioned the WBO to make him the mandatory for Jeff Horn, and boom, he becomes a mandatory for Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn fights Gary Cochran, I do believe that's the guy he fought. And then immediately after that voluntary with Gary Cochran, boom, comes a fight with Terence Crawford, right? Very, very straightforward way for him to go about doing that. And it does not require the PBC to necessarily like it. Now, if Jermell drops the belt and decides to keep the other 3 belts, then Terence Crawford would be fighting for the vacant belt. But, it is what it is. If he really does feel like these guys are dragging him on, and I really do believe if he feels like he took, offers, financial offers and all that stuff that, that he deserved, where he deserved more money, and he's getting frustrated, by all means, man, go ahead and do it. Because for me, I just want to see these guys in their next fight. Right. I know there's a lot of people that are tired of the subject matter of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. I am not tired. I mean, I'll talk about the subject matter because, quite honestly, I don't have a choice. There's a million questions being thrown at me anytime anybody says anything about that fight. So I'm going to continue to respond and let people know what I know about it. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be answering those questions in live streams. But as far as like wanting to see these guys fight, I just want to see him into their next fight. I would love to see a fight this year. Either it's Errol. I don't care if Errol fights Keith Thurman. If Errol fights, more than likely he won't. But if Errol fights Ugas or Stanionis or Terence Crawford fights, I don't know. Could care less who he fights. If he goes up to 154, however, there's going to be a wait on that, probably till at least the middle part of next year, maybe this time in 2023, because Jermell Charlo already has his WBO mandatory in Tim Tszyu that he's been ordered to fulfill, and the fight has already been set. So, that option is not immediately available for him. But hey, man, I'll take it. Anything to move stuff on and us getting, some good fights that we want to see. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.